going to bring down the cost of mayonnaise and everything else. Watch.
We really would love to know what your plan is to help lower the cost of living.
Yeah, first of all, thank you both for being here. And yours is a story I hear around the country as I travel. And in terms of both rightly having the right to have aspirations and dreams and ambitions for your family, and working hard and finding that the American dream is, for this cost of everyday necessities, including groceries. So that's why I'm taking on, for example, price gouging, which is when, most companies and corporations are good, but for those bad ones, they take advantage of people, especially during a pandemic or extreme weather, and they end up jacking up prices.
She's going to go after companies for it's price control, and every company has said they're not for this. You know what I realized by watching this? Two things. Oprah Winfrey is so talented as a host. She was able to, when she had to save her several times, she was going off on tangents, and Oprah would jump in and say, so what you're saying is, I also realized the truth doesn't matter. This is all propaganda, and propaganda seems to rule. And what they want to do is take Americans' money, hardworking Americans' money, and they want to increase taxes, and they want to take your money. And this is why the Teamsters did not endorse Kamala Harris. They all hate Donald Trump at all costs. And they bring in Hollywood, they bring in Julia Roberts, they bring in Bryan Cranston, Chris Rock, Meryl Streep. People are tired of hearing from celebrities because they're not relatable. They are the coastal elites. And Trump is up against the blue state, and he's up against big tech, and he's up against the Hollywood elite.
Ainsley, I was looking for, look, you can be a Democrat, you can be a progressive, I don't care. Most of my friends are, and I love them. But I was waiting for a real moment from someone in the audience or Oprah Winfrey to say, okay, what do you mean?
She actually did say that.
Just just give me, after the word salad and all of that, but how does that help, though?
If Bernie Sanders would be scared to lead the country, but you knew exactly where he was going to take it. She's going out of her way either not to reveal or she does not know what she's going to do. Either she's scared to death of revealing what she believes, or she has no idea, and she just is going to have a bunch of advisors lead this country to the left, just like Joe Biden did. She really has no answers. It is like giving an oral book report when you didn't read the book, and you think you're snowing everyone in the classroom, but you're not, and you get an F. She had no answers to what are you going to do for the economy. It's called price gauging, by the way. Price gauging. She is going to go. She has no proof of anything. That's not a policy. And if she was, this is what you say. First off, it's going to be price gouging. I'm going to be attacking that. Next, I'm going to be doing whatever she wants to do. I'm going to be taxing the rich, unrealized tax gain. You give her 5 straight things. Give her 5 straight things you're going to do. Instead, it's 2 minutes to price gouging. Tell me what price gouging is. I was listening to this last night. I CNN cut in live. It was unlistenable. Yes. And I thought, let me just look at the Vatum tomorrow, and I'll see what's going to be on the show and for radio. I'm looking at it. There's nothing in this. We can't put our people through listening to this. Well, she did say to the couple from Pennsylvania, she did say what her plan was. It was to bring down prices. Prime point, she knew she's got to explain stuff. At one point, she said, Oprah said, I didn't realize you had a gun. And she said, absolutely, I've got a gun. And if somebody comes in the house, they're going to get shot. And then Kamala Harris said, you know what, my staff's probably going to have to clean that up, because she realized she was being honest. She was being blunt. And she was telling the truth right there.
Pretending to be blunt and honest. Oprah has endorsed Kamala Harris, and she's on her side. And she didn't know that she had a gun. She's on her side. How the hell is American people supposed to know that she had a gun? All of a sudden, she just got all these. She's been Attorney General, U.S. Senator, District Attorney, and no one knew she owned a gun until now.
Well, and that's to the point that I'm about to make, and that is when she gives these very broad, very vague answers, and it's part of their strategy. But it flies in the face of those polls that we have been talking about for a week, and that is a plurality of people, of voters, want to know more about her. They want to know more about what she's going to do. And so what they did, they brought all those Hollywood stars in. Hundreds of thousands of people watched the live stream. Today, millions and millions of people are going to see little clips. Okay, here's Chris Rock. Here's Meryl Streep. Here's all these people. They love her, and for a lot of people, that's all they need. That's Bryan Cranston.
Yeah, I think she's trying to be more of a Republican. She's stealing a lot of Donald Trump's policies by saying no tax on tips after he said it. Now she's saying no more fracking. Now she's saying we like the wall. Now she's saying we're going to close the border. And then she said, if someone breaks into my home, you're going to get shot. Those are, after she said mandatory buyback for your guns, I'm going to make that a mandatory buyback program. Yeah. And then she walked that back. I think she's trying to sound more like a Republican. Right. If a Republican said someone walks in my house, they're going to get shot, even though a lot of people have guns to protect their family, I think that the left would have run with that.
I would love to know what kind of gun is it? How often have you been trained with it? What made you buy the gun? Who got it for you? And what made you feel like, do you have a permit? Tell me about the process. What about the process do you think you can make better? Besides, background check, you got a back. So Donald Trump, I had asked Donald Trump this on Wednesday night. Here's what he said about the economy.
I think it's 2 things. I think our economy is terrible, so you could make the case for them, or it's politics, or maybe it's a combination of both. But the economy is bad. Inflation is killing people. We're going to get the inflation way down. I'm going to reduce energy bills for people by 50% within the first 12 months. That's the kind of stuff we have. We have more liquid gold under our feet than any country in the world, Saudi Arabia, Russia. I'm going to reduce energy costs for people. That means air conditioning, heating, cars, everything, by 50%. And we'll do that within 12 months, and I'll be able to do it easily.
So he said it's brown energy. He just answered the question. So at least I know, now I can make my decision as a voter. I still don't know what she stands for, that Meryl Streep can go on Zoom. That's what I got from that.
Well, if you listen to the former president, his entire point of view when it comes to the economy right now is that energy prices are too high. And that's not just a talking point, it's in the polling. The energy is up, whether it is the oil, when you're going to, the gas, and everything in the country functions around energy costs. Right. That's his position. And so I don't think it's unreasonable to say, okay, this is where the former president is coming from. This is how he feels like he's going to be able, and he's done it before, and voters feel the same way. By the way, you can see the full interview with Brian on Saturday, and I'm sure you're going to get into more detail about that.
Good tease. All right, meanwhile, on this Friday, Will Cain is having breakfast with friends. He's live at the Belvedere South Diner in Virginia Beach, Virginia, where something important happens today in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Will?
That's right, Steve. It's early voting. In-person early voting starts today in Virginia. So here we go. Election season has kicked off, but these are the rules of the game, so everyone should play by the rules. And you can go out now in Virginia and vote. I will be hanging out with diners this morning at Belvedere South in Virginia Beach. So, you know, when I come into a place like this, Steve, Brian, Ainsley, you guys all have experience doing it. I don't know. I find myself falling down the rabbit hole. So last night I was reading all about Virginia Beach and Virginia and the history. And it's fact, this is America. Like, this is the birthplace, Jamestown settlement. This is where the first Americans arrived and attempted to set up colonies and stay just in this area, not far from Virginia Beach. And then when it comes to politics, this is really one of the true battleground spots of Virginia. While Kamala Harris has a big lead over, or a decent sized lead over Donald Trump, it's blue up near Washington, D.C., it's red in most of the state, and Virginia Beach, Norfolk, this area right here is where there's a real battle. Who could win, Donald Trump or Kamala Harris? We begin to learn today with early voting in Virginia.
And particularly in that area you're at, there's so much military. There's such a military buildup.
That's right.
Our naval infrastructure is based down there.
Huge, huge, absolutely. There's naval bases, naval air bases, Navy SEALs based on their East Coast operations out of this area. And it's all throughout this Tidewater region. It's not just, it is Virginia Beach, but it's all up and through this Tidewater region. Huge presence from the military.
Right, and it's somewhat affordable too. And I've been there a lot. It's a fantastic area. Will, you're going to have some fun. We'll check in with you shortly.
Thank you.
This is my first time. East Coast Surfing Championships. Send me back for that. That's here as well, Virginia
Awesome.
Beach.
All right, thank you, Will.
Do we cover surfing championships?
We
This
should.
would be the first time.
No, Griffin's
Griff
done it.
Jenkins, yeah.
He said, no, I
He
know
might
it's
have
surf, but do we
participated.
cover it?
I don't know.
He covered
Sure,
it.
he's fine.
Did you know Will Cain used to swim competitively?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's incredible, right?
Yeah, he's a good
Right,
athlete. We watched
Pepperdine.
him. We watched him
that's right,
swim a
when
few
he
weekends ago. Yeah,
was-
yeah. When he
Water polo at
That's right.
Pepperdine, I believe.
Yeah.
He was a wave.
All right, so yesterday we told you about this event in Springfield, Ohio. Springfield has been talked about a lot. Vivek Ramaswamy was there last night talking to the residents there. We had a guest on yesterday. Steve interviewed her last week. I interviewed her yesterday. And she was saying that the leaders in their community are not listening to them. They have a town of 58,000 people. And over the last few years, these Haitian migrants have moved in, and they've accepted 15 to 20,000 Haitian migrants that have moved into their town. Listen to what some of the residents were saying, their frustration about the local government.
We have city officials that live right here in Springfield and have not set up a meeting like this.
There simply are too many mass migrants here in this town, and they're too richly subsidized. It's pushing people out of their homes. It's pushing people out of jobs.
They have not assimilated. They do not know the culture. They do not know the language. What is happening to our kids is not fair.
Right, and it's all about the infrastructure. And we've been talking about this for weeks because years ago, a number of migrants just settled in that area, and then they started telling their friends and family members back in Haiti, you know, come to Ohio because there are cheap, housing is cheap, and there are a lot of jobs. And employers open their doors. Unfortunately, the town and the state have not been good at keeping up with infrastructure, and so the hospitals are taxed, the schools are taxed, the law enforcement is taxed, the social services are taxed. It's trying, and that's why you see the frustration with those people.
But what other people do point out, that the Haitians that are working there work hard, show up on time.
Yeah.
It's great. In many cases, fantastic. But the bottom line is they're overburdening the schools. And one of the main things is they don't know how to drive. They don't understand the language. They don't know what rules of the wrong, and rules of the road. So if you're 18 years old, you don't have to take driver's ed. So you come in, you get your license, you're on the road, you're killing people. There's one kid died in an accident. Nobody said it was intentional. But that's scary for everybody. You know, that also, there's not many French Creole speakers in Springfield. So in the special services, they're leaving the Ohio kids, the Springfield kids, and they're going to the Haitian kids.
There has been an attempt to racialize this story, and it's missing the larger point. And it doesn't go well. I know everyone wants to play the soundbite from the debate, but it misses the larger point of what's happening in Springfield. And honestly, it's not just Springfield. It's cities all across the country, many minority neighborhoods that are experiencing this as well, where people are coming in illegally into the country, taking over their communities and their community services when they're already struggling. And so I think the media, so often when Donald Trump says something or J.D. Vance, they go after the bouncy ball. But they miss the larger story, which is there are a lot of American cities that are already struggling, that are being burdened by the illegal immigration in this country. And there's a lot of people that don't know how to speak English, and they're going into schools, and their kids are having to deal with an already large classroom size. They don't have the staff. Law enforcement is strained. You got gangs taking over apartment complexes, battling with the gangs that are already in other communities. So there's a huge problem, not just in Springfield, Ainsley, but all over this country right now.
Well, this is what Vivek said to the crowd. Listen to this.
We had this event. It was initially supposed to be small. We expanded it. Turns out we had a venue capacity of a few hundred people. It was about 2,000 RSVPs. People were just hungry to have their voices heard. They've been told to basically shut up, sit down, do as you're told for too long. And I think people were just hungry to be heard. Were there some moments of tension? Yes, there were. Did everybody agree with 100% of what I had to say? No, they didn't. But I do think this is how we're going to get our country back, which is we're going to have to be able to talk to each other as citizens. And the ultimate blame lies at the feet of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, who created these border and immigration policies that are causing places like Springfield, a place I'm as a kid, to now suffer. That's sad, but it doesn't have to stay that way. And I think the residents tonight actually had a lot of good, pragmatic ideas ideas if people are just willing to actually listen to them. And I think we try to do that tonight.
And he really knows that area. He lives in that area. He lives in Ohio. And so it was great that he would go over there and shine a light on what we know for real, and that is the migrant crisis is really stretching thin. The
district now must spend 10 times what it's spending prior to this influx in translation services. Yeah. So, I mean, if you're looking around and say, well, how did this happen? And then you have a candidate who says, I'm tough on the border. I'm the only one to prosecute transnational gangs. No, you were assigned the border. You were forced to the border. You were there for 15 minutes. You visited 3 countries, 2 of which on Zoom. You did nothing on the border. You're not tough on the border. They're pointing to that one piece of legislation that Langford put forward with Sinema and Murphy, and she's like, well, I wanted to pass that. You had nothing to do with that.
Diana said yesterday when we talked to her, a lady who lives there, who ended up getting into the event, I saw her on camera, she was saying that the liberals were buying up chunks of tickets for that event so that the people who really wanted to go hear Vivek and talk to him weren't able to go. I did see her in the video, though, last night. But she said, we live paycheck to paycheck in this town. Yes. Most of my friends live paycheck to paycheck. She said, I was a school teacher, and she said, this is not about race. It has nothing to do with that. We love everybody. But she said, these are illegal immigrants that are coming into our town. This is not something that I'm in favor of, yet my taxes are still having to pay for them.
Yeah. Right. And to Brian's point of them having to bring in services to teach them English. Okay, how many times have we showed y'all the latest statistics on black and brown kids that can't read and write? Why are we dedicating resources to people that weren't born here to help them out and our kids cannot read and write?
And by the way, I'm not sure Tajikistan, if we're going to insult people from Tajikistan, but they're migrants. They've picked up migrants who are suspected of ISIS ties in Philadelphia. They plan on attacking the LGBTQ parade over the weekend. So if I point that out, am I anti-Tajik or am I pro-American that doesn't want to see a parade blown up?
Well, in Ohio, welcomes the migrants and says the Haitian migrants who are there legally are welcome in Ohio.
So he should have done more to serve the services. Same thing with Palestine. I don't know what his problem is. He comes in later and is critical of people that want to help. You should be helping ahead of time and not let this get out of control. You should be stumping to get federal dollars to that small city, 100%. Not waiting for it to be brought up on the debate. 100%. So, and Governor DeWine is really out of step.
All right, let's hand it over to Carly. She has some more headlines for us. Hey, Carly.
Yeah, guys, in a shocking story out of Kentucky to get to, a sheriff in eastern Kentucky is charged with murder after allegedly shooting and killing a judge. State police say it happened after an argument yesterday inside a courthouse. They responded to reports of gunshots and found District Judge Kevin Mullins dead in his chambers. Letcher County Sheriff Mickey Steins is being charged with 1 count of first-degree murder. The Justice Department is reportedly trying to build an attempted assassination case against Ryan Ruth, the suspected gunman arrested after a scare at former President Trump's Florida golf course. He is currently only facing gun-related charges, but federal investigators are reviewing his electronic devices and interviewing witnesses to identify a motive and bring more serious charges against him. And happening today, the House will vote on Congressman Mike Lawler's bill that will give presidential candidates the same protections from the Secret Service as a sitting president. And keep it here because Congressman Lawler will join us next hour. According to the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, large social media and video streaming companies engage in vast surveillance of users and profit off their information. Big tech uses it to sell targeted ads, and officials say teenagers and children are. FTC Chair Lena Khan says, quote, while lucrative for the companies, these surveillance practices can endanger people's privacy, threaten their freedoms, and expose them to a host of harms. The controversy started after visitors realized that the pandas you're seeing on your screen are actually dogs that are painted to look like pandas. Visitors claim they only realized the scam when the animals started panting and barking. The zoo later admitted to the quote-unquote pandas were actually chow chows, a popular dog breed, with their fur dyed. What was the zoo thinking? Those are clearly dogs.
Pandas,
we've all seen a panda.
Pandas don't bark, and they don't have a curly, long tail.
Yes!
You could dress up a dog like a panda. I salute the Chinese for...
It's like a dog.
Yeah, well, I shoot Chinese for trying.
Tobin just got him out here. He said, what if the pandas identify as dogs?
At first, the zoo tried to say the animals were a breed of panda dogs. Then they realized they told the public, and then visitors wanted their money back.
Now you know.
They know I haven't gotten to the bottom of COVID-19.
Pandas don't bark.
Thank you, Carly.
They even lie about the pandas.
All right, straight ahead. We're not the only ones noticing these star-studded events for Kamala Harris. Look at that.
It's
cruising past Marshall yesterday, 49-14, helping the Buckeyes move to 3-0. Meanwhile, their bitter rival Michigan was busy hosting USC. The Wolverines using this 4th down touchdown in the final minute to take down the Trojans 27-24. And in Colorado, where Coach Prime Squad needed a wing and a prayer to send the game against Baylor into overtime.
And all rushing from one side. The Big 12 opener comes down to this play. Sanders gets the feet set toward the end zone for the game. It is caught by Wisner.
The Buffaloes tying the game as time expired with that touchdown. Colorado would go on to stop Baylor in overtime to win 38-31, causing the Colorado faithful to storm the field in celebration. Wow. Those are your headlines.
Even I like that sports moment. That was amazing that you caught that. Yeah. I like anything with a Hail Mary.
That's why she loved it. I got it. And look,
that was amazing.
Rick, you guys were communicating during those headlines. I was trying to focus, but I barely did.
Rachel and I were having a conversation right
across you.
So well.
We're trying to decide if with this outfit I should keep the glasses or not.
She was like, should I keep my glasses? I was like, yeah, I think you should.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of style, yesterday was National Dancing Day. National Dancing Day. So we line danced out on Fox Square. Rick joined us, all 4 of us. Check it out.
And so the response was unrelenting.
Well, it was brutal. I mean, apparently Will's dancing is upsetting people in the hospital.
Sitting in a hospital bed, watching Fox and Friends weekend, when out of nowhere I'm subjected to seeing Will Kane prancing across the screen doing his disturbing version of a line dance. Why does Pete Hegseth let him do this? I had to ask the nurse to give me some guard.
Why don't you put your name on it? Why don't we put these people's names on it?
This one is another expo says, Will, you are from Texas and you can't line dance.
I saw some of these yesterday, by the way, and the camera wasn't panned out enough for you to appreciate this, at least in that clip.
I think Rick should read the next one.
Well, you're not supposed to read the stuff about yourself. It's true. I got it.
It's so good.
Kim, whose name is on it, said, Rick nailed it. While everyone was watching Will and Pete, you were quietly doing all the moves with the instructor. Well done, Rick.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Listen, I will say, is there anything you can't do? Like, there does come a point with Pete where it's like he did that dance. It's like you should be on, you know.
Dancing with the Stars?
Your man crush for Pete is very basic control.
Thank you, Rick.
Your man crush for Pete.
I was so focused on Will's bad dancing, I didn't really notice Pete's good dancing, but you're right.
You know, we were in Montana this summer and we did family line dancing.
Of course you did.
Of course we did.
That's good.
Of course.
Hours and hours of family line dancing.
I just want you to know, I did see your comments as well that men don't line dance.
It's a fun family.
The kids loved it. Dad, can we do more of that?
Congratulations, you're a really good line dancer.
He's married to a dancer. His wife is a dancer.
That is true.
All right,
More boxing friends after.
Presente aí sim, Fael. Valeu, Fael. O que é isso aqui, Fael? Olha, ganhei presente, ó. Caramba.
Tem que colocar só a cara.
Minha cara. Eita, Fael. A camisa, Fael. Obrigado, Fael. Te amo.
Ó, gente, a blusa que o Rafa escolheu pro pai dele, ó. Ficou bonita.
Ele falou, ficou minha cara, gente, ó. Eu achei que ficou mesmo. Combinou.
Ele falou, mãe, esse aqui é o gosto do meu pai. Pode levar esse aqui que ele vai gostar.
Eu gostei. Ficou cara de pai.
E agora eu vou começar aqui a arrumar a mesa, né, pra gente colocar o bolo, os docinhos. E olha, eu tinha falado pra vocês que a gente vai fazer um bolinho assim, simples, só pra família mesmo. Eu coloquei uma toalha branca embaixo e esse TNT azul aqui em cima, ó. E agora eu vou começar aqui a decorar essa parte aqui da parede. Gente, já terminei de organizar aqui a mesa e olha só como que ficou. Então, como vocês estão vendo, eu tentei fazer tema da Hot Wheels, mas eu não encontrei nada, porque eles me disseram que saiu de linha, né? E o que eu fiz? Como eu já tinha comprado algumas coisas, tudo azul e branco, eu coloquei a pista que o Rafa tem, aqui, ó, da Hot Wheels. E ele colocou os carrinhos ali, organizou, dentro da boca do dinossauro. E a gente comprou o bolo também, pediu pra fazer azul com branco. Assim, aqui em cima é raspa de chocolate. Aqui do lado eu coloquei esses pirulitos pra decorar com confeite. Ali atrás tem bala de coco, ó, eu coloquei nessa taça. Aqui as balas de coco. Aqui em cima ficou esse painel escrito Feliz Aniversário. E eu coloquei só alguns balões aqui, ó, do lado, tá vendo? E alguns aqui embaixo da mesa, pra esconder o pé da mesa. E aqui na mesa ficou os docinhos. Também eu comprei salgados, né, salgadinho, aí eu vou servir só na hora. Tem que esquentar, né? Senão vai ficar